Hi, and welcome back to Focal Point AFR Talk, the second hour of Focal Point on the American Family Radio Talk Network. Started talking about immigration in the last hour. I want to play a couple of sound bites and give you some more content dealing with the immigration issue. And the viewpoint that I've represented to you from Philemon, which is a New Testament example, an actual historical example of an apostle of Jesus Christ dealing with an undocumented immigrant, dealing with somebody who was legally living somewhere where he had no legal right to be. And Paul's counsel, out of his compassion and his care for Onesimus, was you need to return. You need to go back to the place where you have the legal responsibility to be and the legal right to be. Now, we were talking about this being the Marco Rubio permanent Democratic majority bill. Let's go to clip 7 if we can, Rob. This is Chuck Schumer, and he believes this thing is a slam dunk in the Senate. Might not be. The vote for cloture today, 5:30. Not too late to call your senator. It's 3:07 in Washington, D.C., still 2 hours before the vote. And trust me, if the phones start ringing off the hook between now and when they go to the floor to vote, they're going to hear about it. 202-224-3121. Call your senators, both of them, and say, as a constituent, I am urging Senator X to vote against this amnesty bill. I strongly oppose it. I urge the senator to vote against this bill. Trust me, they keep track of those phone calls. And a phone call actually probably has more impact because, remember, somebody's got to answer that phone. I mean, it registers. They can kind of ignore an email. They can dump it in the trash. They can delete it. But somebody's got to answer the phones. They cannot have an office where people don't answer the phones. They got to do it just to stay in office to show some kind of concern, responsiveness to constituent concerns. So 202-224-3121. Time to burn up those phone lines. Now, Chuck Schumer, he's saying, look, the House isn't going to block this. We're going to get it through the Senate. But the House, he doesn't think is going to block it, and here's why. Let's listen.
Well, look, this is going to be a historic week for the Senate as we pass comprehensive immigration reform. We're about at 2/3 of the Senate right now. Our momentum is growing. So I believe we'll be in the neighborhood of 70 votes by the time the vote occurs at the end of the week. And I do believe that having a significant number of Republicans will change the dynamic in the House. Individual Congress members from red districts, if they see their senator has voted for it, may decide to do the right thing. There'll be huge pressure on Speaker Boehner not to block immigration reform because that would consign the Republican Party to minority status. And we have all kinds of allies who are usually conservative pushing for this bill, the business community, the high-tech community, the evangelical community, the Catholic bishops, the growers throughout the country. So I believe that at the end of the day, Speaker Boehner will have to bring a bill, either the Senate bill or something much closer to it than people think, to the floor of the Senate, even if it means abandoning the Hastert rule. He will have no choice as the pressure mounts over the summer.
Now, the Hastert rule is a rule under Denny Hastert. It's never been codified, and there's a lot of pressure now on Boehner to codify this thing, make it an official part of Republican policy. Denny Hastert, when he was Speaker of the House, he would not bring a bill to the House floor if it did not have majority support from his own caucus. Now, John Boehner, three times, ladies and gentlemen, the Speaker of the House, a Republican, has brought bills to the floor against the majority of his own caucus. Even though a majority of Republicans in the House of Representatives opposed the bill, John Boehner still drugged that bill to the floor, and they were voted on primarily by a majority of Democrats. So John Boehner has been leading and governing against the will of his own caucus, against the will of the elected representatives representing the Republican Party and Republican voters. It's just shameful, and it is shameless for John Boehner to do this. And so Chuck Schumer believes he's going to fold again. He knows that the majority of the Republican caucus is not for this thing. They're against it. He thinks that John Boehner is going to drag this thing to the floor anyway because he doesn't want the Republican Party to become a permanent minority status. You know, and I just love it when you have guys like Chuck Schumer pretending to care about the future of the Republican Party. Chuck Schumer exuding this compassion for the Republican Party. I care about them. I don't want to see them relegated to the ash bin of history. I don't want to see them disappear from the political landscape. I just care about their future. And John Boehner cares about the future of the Republican Party. He doesn't want to see them reduced to permanent minority status. So I know that he will do the right and caring thing for the Republican Party and bring this thing to the floor. I mean, it's just absolutely absurd. If Chuck Schumer, listen to me, if Chuck Schumer honestly believed that Republicans opposing this bill would consign them to the dustbin of history, he would be urging them to do it. He would be out there saying, Republicans, I want you to oppose this bill. If he really believed that was the ticket to disaster for the Republican Party, if he honestly believed that, he wouldn't be trying to get them to vote for this thing. He'd be trying to stiffen their opposition against it because he wants to see them destroyed. The fact that he wants them to vote for it means he knows this is the quickest path to oblivion for the Republican Party is to get on board this Rubio amnesty bill. 888-589-8840 is the number, 888-589-8840. Let's go to Frank in Orangeville, Kentucky. Frank, welcome to Focal Point with Brian Fisher. What's on your mind? Frank, let's have you turn your radio down so we won't be interrupted by the feedback there.
Hi, Brian.
Hey, Frank, go right ahead.
I got a comment and a question.
Yes, sir.
The Republicans know they're cutting their throats. What's wrong with them? That's stupid for them to even vote for something like that. Don't they say they're even cutting their throats? And the second part I have a comment about. That little girl that you was about a couple of weeks ago that she had problems with her lungs. She got her lung.
Yeah. Yeah, she did.
You knew that or not. She got her lung regardless of what anybody says.
Yeah, and apparently, the surgery was successful, and, we'll hope and pray that her recovery will be complete. So, yeah, once you got sort of the Kathleen Sebelius death queen out of the way, the Kathleen Sebelius, the queen of death, once she was removed from the picture, then the girl was able to get a potentially life-saving lung transplant. All right, Frank, listen, thank you. Thank you for the call. I appreciate that. And Frank was going back, to this business about Republicans slitting their own throats. I absolutely agree with this. This is a suicide mission because the Republican senators, they really have absolutely no idea the level of energy in the grassroots parts of the party against this thing. There is no Republican in the grassroots, no Tea Partier, no conservative blogger, no conservative talk show host anywhere that I have read that is for this thing. Nowhere. There is no support among the base of the Republican Party for this bill. None whatsoever. And yet they blindly soldier on. Here's a quote from M. Stanton Evans. Great quote. Exactly what we're talking about. He's saying, look, in American politics, you've got two parties. You have the evil party, by which he is thinking of the Democratic Party, and the stupid party, by which he is thinking of the Republican Party. This is brilliant. It's true. We have a two-party system in America, the evil party and the stupid party. And every once in a while, the evil party and the stupid party get together to pass something really evil and really stupid. That's called bipartisanship. Focal Point AFR Talk, back in 2.